Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Astrological Intentions. I am your host, Alex Reevy, along with the Mexico
Mamacita.
Mamacita. It is episode 234 and January 16th. Let's get right into it. In the transits, we have Wednesday, January 18th, Mercury stations direct.
Yeah, finally, be Prometheus.
Same day, Sun conjunct Pluto.
Extremes.
Sandy's conflict day, Friday, January 20th, Sun ingress Aquarius.
Others need your light.
Saturday, January 21st, new moon at 1 degree of Aquarius.
KaPow, Batman.
Sunday, January 22nd, Uranus stations direct.
Moving forward.
And Sandy's astrological interesting transit, Venus conjunct Saturn.
Make a commitment.
Then no talisman times coming up, as well as our on the horizon is retreat forward. So we have Bali and our Greece retreat. And in our house, Sandy just got back from the Mexico retreat and has tons to share. Stay tuned for this episode of Astrological Intentions.
I say go do you. Now travel far, share your stories and earn your scars. It's you. Say you are the one you will answer to when this life is done. Don't waste a minute, jump in the river. Wash yourself clean so you can deliver you. The story of
Hello, Mexico Mamacita.
I know, that was one of our songs. Very
Yes.
special song someone requested. And it was funny when it came out.
Yes.
It came on.
So,
Yeah.
wow, welcome back.
Just
welcome back.
Just got back.
And what an amazing retreat it was. We're going to chat more about it in our house.
Okay.
But
If I can stay awake till the end of this recording, I am exhausted.
yes. And I call you the Mexico Mamacita because just some of these pictures that were going through our WhatsApp group are you at like a flying V. You know, think of like the geese when they're flying in that V shape. You at the front with all of your retreaters behind you, all dressed in red.
Oh my gosh, we are
Amazing. In the indoor palapa. It is absolutely
Isn't that cool?
gorgeous. Everyone looks fabulous. And
Thanks
wow.
to Anna.
Yeah. Anna, shout out to you for doing that posing because it was smart. And I will add that image into the show notes if I can. Otherwise, check it out on our social media.
Yeah, it was a big group.
So let's go direct to all of our listeners. This message is from Karen. She actually won the universal intention bracelet of her choice.
Yes.
And she says, wow, thank you so much. I'm going to give it to my sister, Sheila. She's coming over during the holidays and we're going to look at the website together and pick out the perfect talisman for her. Hope you have a wonderful holiday season. Also, I want you to know that I was wearing my constellation bracelet. So she was there with us during one of the seasonal bracelets that we do. When I visited my niece in Michigan last week, at the time we were doing the constellation bracelet, I was trying to heal our relationship and we had a wonderful visit last week.
Oh.
Know that the work that you do is important and meaningful. Love.
Chills.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, that made my day. Karen, thank you
Yeah.
for sending that in. It's just so hopeful to and even when for other people to hear it or other people to read it. But it's also so insightful. You know, one of the words I was using for one of the ladies at the retreat was how, you know, inspirational she is, but she's also outspirational. You know?
Interesting.
So
And outristing.
right? Because it's like in. And I started using, you know, because we're talking about the Mars moving direct and it after being retrograde for all these weeks and 2 months. And so I've been using a lot of this out, you know, inhale, exhale, or outhale.
Right. Wow.
So Karen here being, you know, inspiring and sharing it being outspiring.
Yes. So anyone else that wants to share a little bit of their journey, their message, their feedback, we are 100% ready for this decadent soul food that you want to serve us and the podcast listeners as well. So email me, alex@intentionbeads.com. Let's move into the transits where we have a medium week.
Yeah, but a lot going on.
So let's start off with the beginning of the transits on Wednesday, January 18th. Mercury stations direct.
Finally at 8 degrees. We hear 8 degrees seems to be a very hot area in the charts. This one is 8 degrees of Capricorn. Mm-hmm. But remember, Mars made his movement at 8 degrees of Gemini, so that would affect all of the
they're touching. They're communicating.
But in what I use as transit is the Ptolemaic transits, or aspects, I should say, aspects, and it doesn't make one. It's called a verse, so they don't see each other. They don't know what each other is doing.
Okay.
So very interesting because Mercury here is in Capricorn, where Mars is exalted, and Mars is in Gemini, where Mercury is the ruler. Mm-hmm. So I really think any situations that have been stuck, stopped, confusing, back and forth, doubt, forward, backward movement, or just being frozen, like being fearful of moving forward. I really think this is a big day. That's why I titled this Be Prometheus. And if you know Prometheus,
enlighten us.
Again, he's good
I've
word.
heard of Prometheus.
He's the one that stole light. He stole fire. He stole fire from the gods.
Okay.
And because he knew that the mortal men would need fire for cooking, for light, for
Was Prometheus a god himself?
No, he was a mortar. He was a
mortal.
And what Prometheus means, forward thinking. His brother Epimetheus
is hindsight.
Yeah, he looks at things in hindsight, shoulda, woulda, coulda. Hindsight is 20/20, but Prometheus is the the ability, the forward,
the progress.
Thinker. So be a forward thinker here on the 18th. You tested the route. Mercury has been retrograde. You tested the route that you were considering. You worked it out over the last 5 weeks, and now you're ready to put into gear what practice that you have perfected. So you've tested the route, take the route.
Yeah.
Any birthdays, anyone who has a birthday on December 30th has this 8 degree of Capricorn sun. So this placement will be the most sensitive. Anybody December 30th, 29th, 30th, 31st. So just be ready to move forward.
Okay.
Yeah.
And same day, Wednesday, January 18th, Sun conjunct Pluto.
This happens every year, and it gets about 2 or 3 days later each year as Pluto moves a few degrees every year. So then the sun has to go up and meet up with Pluto because Pluto's moved just a couple
steps.
An inch
ahead.
Yeah.
Yes.
And this is about extremes. What are those in your life? What do you love intensely, and what do you despise intensely? Name it. Just name it, right? Because at that point you can change it or keep it. Reminds me of the TV show I sit with my mom and watch. Love it or list it.
Right.
It's like, what are you going to do with this?
Yes.
Stop the You really should, on the Wednesday the 18th, really feel a powerful, intense
conviction,
movement.
Right?
Yeah. Determination, and start moving in that direction.
Okay.
Hey,
I like it.
I sound like I'm yelling.
So let's move on to your conflict day, which is Friday, January 20th, Sun ingress Aquarius.
Yeah, and the reason why it's conflict, because the sun rules Leo. Now it's at the halfway point. It's on the other side of Leo. So it's opposition.
Right.
And any place where a planet is in the opposite place of where he is the ruler, he's in his detriment. Yeah, he's in his enemy's house. So, not that the sun in Aquarius is about enemy's house. It really does mean if the sun is about oneself, and then Leo is the leader, then sun in detriment in the opposite sign is for the people.
Right.
So other people need your light. So I say this for Aquariuses, but I say this for everybody, even the Leos, sun in Leos, sun in any sign. When it goes into Aquarius, people need your light.
Yeah. And to be proud and shine that light the brightest you can. And I think that is one thing that I love about the sign of Aquarius, is that it is very unique, very different, and willing to risk to be different.
And he's there's a human in this constellation. It's a man. The human, not all constellations have humans. Most of them are
inanimate or animals.
But to have a human means it's humanity. And people sometimes think it's water because he is the water bearer. And he is providing clean, fresh water for humanity. So the water bearer wants to provide things that are of the earth and necessity to everybody, not just the wealthy.
For progression.
Yeah. And he also rules air waves. He's an air sign. So yeah, we get a lot accomplished when we shed our light on others. Yeah.
So let's move on to Saturday, January 21st, the new moon at 1 degree of Aquarius.
This happens at 2:53 p.m. KaPow, bow, wow, Batman, whatever those words
I can see the visual of the little like spiky kind of comment bubbles.
New begins. New things begin. It's a new moon. It's the first new moon of the year. It's at 1 degree. So it's
it's a newborn baby.
It's brand new into that sign of Aquarius about right after the sun moved in. Boom, boom, kaboom, boom. In goes the moon.
Yeah.
And so this really is about, is this a step up and a step in the right direction for human rights? This is, with this 1 degree Aquarius, we have a sextile to this new moon. The sun and the moon have a sextile to Jupiter and a trine to Mars moving forward. So it's a really nice kind of solid push from when you're being swung in the air, like when you're a little kid and people are swinging you on the swings. And sometimes the timing's wrong and then somebody pushes you and you're like, oh, like I was coming back when they pushed.
Right.
And so
you nearly fell off the swing.
Yeah. And it's like you didn't get the whoosh momentum. And then there's some pushes that the person who's pushing you is timing you perfectly. And it's this like push, push, push.
Right.
And you're like, oh my God, this is a good one.
Right. Oh yeah.
That's
you can feel it. You can feel it.
That's this energy. Right. So that's kind of where I say it's like new begins.
Yes. And so Sunday, January 22nd is your astrological interesting day. However, it's not because of this first transit, which we'll discuss. Uranus stations direct.
Finally, now this is the final and last planet that's been retrograde. And he's moving direct today around 5 p.m. at 14 degrees of Taurus. So anyone that has, a 14 degree Taurus anything, and, I've got Venus at 13 Taurus. So Uranus is for sure now 1 degree off, but as close as he's going to get to, my 13. I know he stations at 14. But this is about moving forward as well. It's a shift in air quality. It's a shift in government. because it's this Taurus. It's about which way now. The bull doesn't move too fast and too far, right? The bull can eat in one little area of the field for a long time and not really move. But here, this Uranus, this change is beginning to move. It's turning. So, and it's not coming back to this field. If we were going to talk about this area of the sky, it's not coming back to this field anymore. It's moving on to a new field. So it's about, is this a new government? Is this any stuck issues? When I think about stuck issues in the government, it's about what are some of these new cabinet members that was stuck for what, a week, deciding who was going to be Speaker of the House. Yeah. That was needing unconditionally never, ever been, took that long. And I think it ended up being 15 votes. Yeah, it was 15 votes. And it happened last week when we were on our retreat. We were making comments about that. But it's really about moving anything solid that you want to move, like one of those big chess pieces, when you're on vacation and you're on the
extra large
versions.
The
extra ones, the life size, and you're trying to move a chess piece by picking it up and move it into a next slot. You're moving something's
making that quality move. And it seems like very Aquarius type of energy for the Friday to Sunday of Sun in Aquarius, the new moon in Aquarius, and Uranus stationing direct. It's all very Uranus rules
Uranian,
Aquarius.
Yeah.
So interesting.
Shifts and change. And that's why I call it shift in air quality.
Yeah. And also, be weird. Be yourself. Be in your individual, unique self. So let's move on to the reason why you call Sunday, January 22nd, your astrological interesting day, because of Venus conjunct Saturn.
So this is around 4:00 in the afternoon. I call this make a commitment. Venus. Okay, let's think about Venus: love, beauty, art, money, investment, dating, breaking up, getting married, whatever. Venus is meeting up with Saturn. Now this is at 24 degrees of Aquarius. Talking about Aquarius being a very popular time frame this week.
Right.
Here is Venus meeting up with Saturn at 24. Now, this will be the last time they connect in a Saturn-ruled sign. Let's just repeat that. Next time they meet up, it will be in Pisces next year. And Venus will be in charge of this combination. Right? But for the last 6 years, well, it's 5 to 6 years, every time they've met up, Venus has had to have gone to Saturn's house. She meets up with him every year, right?
Okay.
But the last 2.5 years, he's been in Aquarius. He rules that sign. And 2.5 years before that, he was in Capricorn and he ruled that sign. So literally, in the last 5 to 6 years, every time Saturn and Venus meet up, Saturn's in charge. So this is the last opportunity, I feel like, to really set something into structure. It's like put your handprint in the cement.
Right.
Make a commitment, put a print somewhere, stack a brick, because this won't happen again for 23 years.
Wow.
When Venus comes around in 2048, so in 2048, Venus will come back around and hit Saturn when Saturn will be in his own ruled sign. But for the time being, for the next 23 years, when Saturn comes to visit Venus, she has 2, 4, 6, 7, 7.5 of those years will be when Venus is in charge. So, I really like this. And that's why I called it my astro interesting. It's not my favorite day, but it's just like that quality of energy is so, it's secure. It just feels protected. So, what do I have? And that's a Sunday. That's Sunday the 22nd.
Yes. So, and that wraps up the week.
Yeah.
So, moving on to talisman times, there are no finished and no to discuss currently for the upcoming talismans.
Yeah, I've got 2 I can do, but I've got conflicts with clients, and I got to see if I can move. If some of these clients will switch, so I could do a talisman. So I'm not going to mention it yet.
So the talisman of the month currently is to believe in the value of persistence and hard work. This talisman is on special at $222, which is a great price. Plus you get a free shipping credit on top of that. So if you are interested in this talisman, head over to the website or click that link in the show notes. Let's move on to the horizon, where we have just finished up a few weeks ago our 2023 year ahead forecast. This is with Sandy and Susan. We did a ton of giveaways. Sandy and Susan went through the entire year of 2023 with broad strokes and with a big focus on the month of January, which we do every month. However, it is not going to be public anymore. If you love those monthly forecasts, they are now going to be available on patreon.com. And that link is in the show notes. And we are clarifying that this is not intention beads. This is for the Chatting with the Stars, which is anything that involves Sandy and Susan Goodell, the financial astrologer. So we would love to see you over there at Patreon. The community is shifting. We are learning. We are growing into this new platform, and we're so excited. We would love to have you. I'll briefly remind the dates for 2023 Bali retreat. That's April 1st through the 11th. We will be having our retreat page up on the website soon if you wanted to see pictures and figure out what an idea of the itinerary will be. That is coming very shortly, and we will be discussing that more in detail. Also, September 7th through the 14th, we have our 2023 Greece retreat, and this is an incredible... I'm so excited because this is going to be my first time going to Greece, but not your first time. And
I've got 2 more people signed up.
Yeah.
They're both from
the Mexico retreat.
Yes. They just told me yesterday.
Wonderful. Yeah. So also, if you are interested in joining us for any of the upcoming retreats and you still have a few questions, you can receive a free 15-minute reading to ask Sandy questions, see if this is a right fit for you. So in the show notes, head over and get your free 15 minutes. Let's move on to our house, where Sandy is back from the Mexico retreat. It was all about Mars and Gemini, about figuring out where our passion is and our drive and our focus. And we think it was a great success. Or at least I think it was a great success.
No, it was a great success.
Just hearing all of the messages and all of the appreciation, and it was so much fun to really work with that energy, because we both have a similar Mars sign in Capricorn, and we work well with it. And when we were figuring out the different exercises and the meditations and the slideshows and
the song,
and the charts and the reports and all of this, it was fun. It was great. And so just to see it all come into reality is a whole nother element. So I want to hear more. We'll start with chapter 1 of this retreat, and we can keep it going for a few our houses in the next couple of weeks.
Well, it's funny because I talk a lot about you because you've done so much work behind the scenes of slides and downloading music for me and putting it over there, and then this is for the dance thing, and then this is for that thing, and this is for the candle meditation. You even recorded a candle meditation, and that's on Spotify. Use that speaker. I mean, like all of that stuff. So you're readily and handily available to participate from afar. But I wanted to call this retreat. You don't always get what you want, right? And you're like, no, I don't think that's good. No, No, we're not. No.
You can't always get what you want.
You can't always get what you want. Right. And you said
Think Rolling Stones
Yeah.
song here. Yeah.
And I said, well, then I'm still playing that song when the Rolling Stones and Mick Jagger were about, 18 years old when they first were playing that song in little, London bistros.
Right.
And just, that you can't always get what you want, but if you try sometimes,
You just might find.
you just might find.
You get what you need.
You get what you need, and he has this arm move that he punches the sky.
I mean, it's just the Mick Jagger, it's his personality on stage.
And we started opening ceremony that way. So that was kind of, and we finished with closing ceremony with that. But what I used with the video we used for that, which because you put it together for me, is when they sang that same song in a massive, massive outdoor,
huge stadium.
Was it Wimbledon? I think possibly
Something, yeah.
When they were 70, in their 70s, just recently. And they're still singing that song.
Right.
And my point I was making at the closing ceremony when I showed that was like, they didn't know what they were really doing at 18. They were just really doing something that they had a lot of fever and fire over, right? And just they were like, let's try this. We don't know.
Right.
Right? But we're gonna try something, and we just might find
You get what you need.
you get what you need. You may not get that exactly thing you wanted, but you might get the thing next to it. And you needed the one that has the lavender in it, not the one that has the, KaPow in it, right? Yeah. So it's just was the activation because I was teaching Mars retrograde in everybody's charts. Because in the middle of the week, on Thursday, the 12th,
right,
Mars station direct.
Right.
So we are feeling this turn, even though he's still at 8 degrees of Gemini. But, for people, and we went to a very small, it was a 2.5 hour van ride that can get kind of like
bumpy.
It's not so bumpy as it's windy. Yeah, the roads are great. In fact, somebody turned around and said, "Oh my God, Sandy, these are nothing like when we were in Costa Rica."
Oh yeah,
and she was right. She was right about that.
Costa Rica's bad. Yeah.
But from just doing that to paddleboarding, some of the ladies, I don't know how to paddleboard. I don't know. I don't want to go. Let's just go. You sit.
Yeah. And so it was you were offering these like challenges, and these kind of like instigations, if that is even a word, to just really like get a fire going and just saying, you know what, screw the fear, screw the overthinking, I'm just gonna do it. Yeah.
And some went to the Temescal.
The sweat lodge.
They were like, no, I don't know. I don't think so. I don't know. What do I expect? Because it's hot. And a lot, some people didn't go, but only 3 did not go. The rest of us went. We had 2 separate sweat lodges.
And so the people that were kind of nervous about it, what did they say afterwards?
Yes, it was easy. I mean, they said, yeah, it got hot. But it was something that they knew they could withstand. And again, there's Mars again. It's like, and then when we came out of the Temescal, you're up in the mountains. It was just 5-minute drive from where we're staying. Because we're at the water, but the mountains are right up there. It's all in a 5-minute road. That you're so close to the stars and to the sky, even better than when you were just down 5 minutes down by the water. And there's Mars right over your head when
that
we
was
came
cool.
out.
That must have been cool.
The red planet is right over our head.
Cool.
And we come out, and people were happy they were able to endure whatever they thought they had to endure. So some came out and said, God, wasn't near as bad as I thought. Right. And others came out and said it was way hot. I never have been that hot. Mm-hmm. You know, I go to hot yoga, and I thought it was like that.
Right.
It's not. It's hot.
Hotter.
It's hotter. Yeah. So, you know, just a little brief. I would like to tell a couple stories. You know, down the road, if you so interview me that way.
Right. Yeah. And I would love to. And I also want to get some of the retreaters on here while all of this is like, you know, so fresh.
I know one I'd like to get on. And I think I need to get on them all.
Well, of course.
Oh my gosh.
But
okay,
we'll plan for that this week or next week and get them on and talk more about it, because of course you want to hear it from the retreaters' perspective. We are the ones making the plans, we are the ones making the itinerary and the
securing all the rides,
right,
and the people and the massages. Yeah.
Of course we're going to do our best, and we're also going to love it.
Yeah.
But I want to hear it from the retreaters.
Yeah. And just
what was it like?
It reminds me that we're good at it.
Right.
We got people coming back. Well, I told you two are signing up for Greece this year, and one is signed up for Bali.
Great.
And another one wants to come back next year to Kasatara.
Perfect.
And another one wants to go to Bali next year. So
wonderful.
Really, it's like, you know, like, and of course,
they turn out to be absolutely inspiring, and
it's a different group of people.
Something out there, yeah.
But some are the same.
Mm-hmm.
Like there were 1, 2, 3 girls that knew each other from last year. Right. And to see that development of what this one said, that, you know, what her Venus was,
mm-hmm.
and how far she's gone in this 1 year.
What, with her own intention
from Venus? Yes.
Okay.
And then the other, like just listening to, and now what has poured forth, right?
Mm-hmm.
And now they all made intentions again. And some of them will be meeting up again next year just to watch. And we talk throughout the year. Mm-hmm. These are not like, ooh, don't need to see her anymore. No, everybody's been talking all day today.
Right.
Because we got in late last night.
Mm-hmm.
So just.
Well, congratulations. I mean, another one.
Yeah, it was a lot for me. Yes, I did it by myself.
You did. And this is the second year, but you had even more people this time. So
almost double.
Yeah. And it's really impressive. You know exactly how to manage a big group of people, keep the space, keep the logistics running. And yeah, it's a sight to see. And I know that everyone, with the outpouring of love and the messages and their gratitude
because you got to see all that.
I got to see all of that. And, you know, it looked like everyone was just elated and energized by the end of it. So,
and it's, you know, one girl, and I just, first of all, I love them all. You know, she was having tummy issues, you know, and sometimes, you know, when you travel long
mm-hmm.
distance and you go to a different country, you might have something like that. But she never once complained that, you know, like she wasn't feeling good. She would just say, well, I'm processing a lot of information. You know, my body is really enacting this, and, you know, is letting some of this stuff go.
Yeah.
You know, they were using it in that transformational. So there wasn't really negativity. That's how people talk. Mm-hmm. Because you're I open sacred space and I close sacred space. And everything in between that, I have to hold the energy. Mm-hmm. That everyone feels calm and secure, and they recognize that. And they feel
you're the container,
and they do.
Mm-hmm.
I get, and you know, and trust me, whoever has made a comment to me this week, I do not take that lightly. I truly hear you when you give me a compliment and said, "I don't know how you did it. You amazed me." I truly take that to my heart. I really do.
Right.
Because people don't see that, but they feel it.
Right. And also all of the preparation, all of the prep work, everything that you do to plan every minute. I mean, really every minute. So
and the cool thing too, and this is another thing I heard on the trip. I've heard this before, but more so this trip, that I go to all the breakfast, lunches, and dinners. I'm like, yeah, well, why wouldn't I? They go, oh, some retreat leaders, you only see them in class. Mm-hmm. like you're down with us at the paddleboarding. You're laying at the pool you're going to the market with us. You're going, we're sitting having a glass of wine.
When you can, of course.
And it's most of the time.
Yeah.
But so that was like, and you're sitting, we're in the hot tub together. We're doing a fire pit together. Mm-hmm. Like you're always there. You're always available. And I just thought all leaders did that. I'm finding out no.
No, that's not
very
a common
rare.
thing.
That the leader or her group would go, they'd stay in the hotel, but, again, they were eating separately. They weren't, and no, I'm like, hell no, I'm with you. We're all together. We're all friends. We're all experiencing this together.
Yeah.
I want to hear your stories. Tell me about, your daughter getting married in Costa Rica today while you're here and she's eloping. Tell us about that story. I want to know. We all got up and made a toast for one of the retreaters' daughters decided to elope. Mm-hmm. And her mother, of course, was sad. But she was with all of us women, and we all had different stories about our daughters, mm-hmm. or no children, big exciting days for one's child you should be present for. And I said, actually, probably of all of them, that's the one, well, maybe childbirth.
You have to be present there. Yeah.
No, but the mother of the daughter. Anyway, so, but just, she's like, I really didn't think I could get through this day. She did it beautifully. And she goes, and I feel pretty good.
Nice. It's great to have a support system.
When she needed to speak, she sat there at that dinner and she goes, I have something to say. She goes, I'm mad. She goes, that right there, I would never have told anybody. Stop, I need to talk, because we sit at all one big long table, right? I want everybody together.
And that's Mars energy, that kind of outward exterior type of directness.
And we're like, everybody stopped, and everybody's like, okay, she's got something to say. You got our attention. You said something. You said you're mad. Yeah. And she started telling her mad story and ended up like shrugging her shoulders and, with a tear coming down and going, but I'm really proud of her, mm-hmm. Of her daughter. So it was that kind of, she let it out.
Right.
It was
expressed
gone.
It.
And then we all get a cheer.
Yeah.
She's like, thank you. Thank you. So you don't know.
You can't always get what you want.
But if you try sometime. So I'm out on the paddle boat. And they're taking pictures of me, paddleboard, doing that whole crazy shaking, pointing at the ceiling, at the sky, going, but if you try sometimes, you just have to try. Yeah. You just have to try. It's Mars. Get up, get out, get going. Yeah. Okay.
All right.
Okay, I can calm down now. I'm tired.
Yes. So thank you, everybody, for listening in to this episode of Astrological Intentions. We love you. We want to hear from you. Email me, alex@intentionbeads.com. Follow us on social media or share this podcast with family member or friends. Thank you so much.
There's space in Bali and Greece. Come on.
Bye.
Bye.
I say go do you. Now travel far, share your stories and earn your scars. It's you. Say you are the one you will answer to when this life is done. Don't waste a minute, jump in the river. Wash yourself clean so you can deliver you. The story of you, the story of you. The story of you, the story.